Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Aligned Entrepreneur Workshop. I am so excited to be here with you today. I'm just going to pop in and make sure that everything is working and we are live. I would love to see you in the chat if you would like to introduce yourself and let me know where you are tuning in from. That would be amazing. I am streaming today from Oregon, where I live, where it is very foggy and chilly and very twilight outside today, basically. So that is just my vibe. So no complaints over here. It looks like everything is working. The sound is all good. Michael is here in the chat to help out. So he will be there posting links and helping out if we need it today. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I am so excited about this workshop. I have never done a workshop like this before. I've never shared the things before that I'm going to be sharing today. So I am just thrilled to get started. Why don't we jump in? I am going to be keeping an eye on the chat. If you have any questions as we go along, I would love to hear from you. Feel free to share them in the chat, and we'll do a little Q&A at the end. So why don't we dive right in to the 3 steps to building a wildly profitable and also aligned business without hustle, without burnout, and without self-abandonment. In today's training, you are going to learn a totally new approach to growing a business. Stuff I have not talked about. I haven't seen anyone else talk about things this way. So it's just really exciting to share. I can't wait. I can't wait to get into it. You're also going to see shifts I have made kind of behind the scenes in my business to come into alignment in each of the 3 areas we're going to talk about today, which is your offers, your pricing, and your marketing. So we're going to talk about how to bring those 3 areas into alignment so you actually feel good running your business, because when you feel good running your business, that is what makes it profitable and also sustainable for you to run. In case you're new around here, hello, my name is Jordan McKell. I have actually been an entrepreneur and business coach for 10 years. The time has flown by. I cannot believe it. And I'm also a certified mindfulness and somatics coach. I went from being a college dropout, working at call centers and retail, that was most of my work experience, to building a successful business and making 7 figures online. So this space, this community is all about where high-level business strategy meets mindfulness and somatics and nervous system regulation, really where we bring those things together so that you can, yes, create a successful, profitable business, but also do it in a way that feels safe for your nervous system and makes you feel really happy and lit up in your business and find that alignment. A little bit more about me. I love Chihuahuas. I'm obsessed with them. If you've been around here for any length of time, you probably already know this. This is my Chihuahua Finn, who loves to make an appearance in all my pictures and videos. And I spend a lot of time reading, always reading novels, hiking, meditating, writing fiction. I'm writing a novel. I'm a published short fiction writer, so that's a little bit about me. Also, the Oregon coast is totally my happy place. It is like the most beautiful, unreal, crazy, awesome, amazing place on the entire planet. If you have not been, highly recommend you go check it out. So that's a little bit about me. I am so excited to be your guide on this journey today. I cannot wait to get into it. Just a side note, this little training today is brought to you by my new community, the Aligned Path, that actually just opened this morning. We've already got people hopping in, checking it out, so that is very, very exciting. It's where high-level business strategy meets mindfulness and nervous system regulation so you can create a business that feels aligned. So I want you to know that no matter what your goal is today, whether you're pivoting, maybe you've built kind of a business already, but you just feel like it's time to make a little bit of a change. Maybe you're just starting out and you're dreaming of creating your first ever business, but you want to do that in an aligned way, or you're totally reimagining your business. Maybe you have made 6 or 7 figures online, but you're just like, this is not my dream business. This is not like my soul's calling. I'm ready to shift and step into the next chapter that's right for me. So no matter which one of those situations you are in the right place. Desiree is here. Hello from Colorado. AG is here. So excited. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I am so excited too. I've been looking forward to this literally for weeks and weeks. So let's get right into it. There are 3 main areas of your business that cause misalignment. But when you walk the aligned path, which we're going to talk about today, it brings these 3 areas into alignment so that you create a wildly successful and profitable business that also feels true to you. The nervous system is going to come into play a lot here. And today we're going to talk about a lot of things, but one of the things will be how these nervous system responses can make your business feel misaligned, draining, just heavy, even if your business looks good on paper. Very interesting stuff, so let's get into it. Let's talk about the aligned path journey now. This is the same journey I've personally been on to move from hustle to ease, from forcing and having that pushing myself energy to just flowing and being really happy about what I'm doing, and from feeling drained and burnt out to joyful and happy with what I'm doing every day and feeling so aligned. So your 3 steps on this journey as an entrepreneur are: step 1, we need to look at your offers. That's kind of the foundation of your business, right? What you are offering. And you need to create offers that fit who you are now, not who you are when you started, who you were 2 years ago, 5 years ago, who you think you should be, what society or other people are pressuring you and telling you should do. Not any of that stuff, but what's aligned with you and what you truly want. We also need to align your pricing. When you have your offers, you want to create pricing that actually meets your needs, not pricing from a place of fear or comparison or scarcity, but from a place of confidence. And then we want to build the internal sense of safety that will allow us to show up and charge that amount. That's a very interesting one. We're going to actually do an exercise about that when we get to it. So it's going to be good. And then step 3, we've got our offers. We've got our pricing. Then we've got to align our marketing. You want to market yourself in ways that feel natural and sustainable to you, not forcing yourself to do things that you don't even like. Because if we're going to do that, we might as well just go get a 9-to-5 or go back to our crappy day job, right? So we want to align our marketing so that it comes across natural and authentic and feels fun and joyful for us. And so that just sharing from your authentic, excited, lit up energy attracts those aligned clients like a magnet. It really does work this way when we are aligned in our business. So let's start here. Let's talk about aligning your offers. But first, before we get into the nitty-gritty of that and the examples, we kind of need to answer this question, because the word alignment can feel like a very weird, conceptual thing. What actually does that mean? Let's make this really concrete. Alignment is when your business is actually in line with your true values, your needs, and your purpose. So when you have an aligned business, it feels like your life calling. It doesn't feel like something that you saw somebody say online was profitable, so you're forcing yourself to do it. It doesn't feel like this pushing or frantic energy. It means embodying your true self in your business. It's not about performing. It's not about following those shoulds or things that may be pushed on you by society or people giving advice on the internet or your family or teachers or whoever. It is about being unapologetically you, your beautiful, imperfect self, and bringing that into your online business and not being afraid to do that and put yourself out there imperfectly and just letting yourself be fully you in your business. So now that we know what alignment means, we need to talk about offer misalignment and how it happens. We'll talk about a couple different ways this happens, but when you think of a misaligned offer initially, you might automatically think of strategy problems, like the business level stuff. So maybe, oh, my niche, I don't know if it's right, or my target clientele, like, I don't know if that's right. And sometimes these things can happen, of course. Sometimes these things come into play, but what is the real foundational issue, the bigger issue at play here? It's going to surprise you because it's something nobody really talks about. Your offers themselves may be misaligned because of the stress responses created by your nervous system that your offers are triggering. So the offer itself, the strategy piece, the niche, the service or product, all that stuff could actually be really, really aligned for you, but you might just be feeling misalignment solely because of the stress responses. So let's talk about these 4 stress responses a little bit briefly in a general sense, and then I'm going to show you how these apply in business and one very specific example that I think you will relate to, because I definitely relate to that example on my business journey. So first things first, the 4 stress responses. In a general sense, this is just like the most simple explanation, right? We've got fight, flight, fawn, and freeze. So you can think of fight as fighting off a threat. That's sort of a stress response that, might make you clench your fist or your jaw might feel tight. It's sort of that fight energy. Flight is running away from the threat. And by the way, the threat here can be real or perceived. I want you to keep that in mind. It can be a real or perceived threat. Now, of course, if you're like this zebra right here in the picture, it's a very real threat. And like that zebra, you're going to have that frantic energy of needing to get away. The fawn response is about appeasing the aggressor or perceived aggressor to avoid threat. This can show up as people pleasing, not having boundaries, different things like that that really make us feel bad, like we're not getting our needs met. And then freeze, I've got this little possum here to sort of illustrate this, but it is playing dead to avoid the threat. And the interesting thing about freeze, so many of us go into freeze around all kinds of parts of our business, right? It may be around creating a new offer. It may be around posting to Instagram or sending a cold email or pitching ourselves. It is this energy of playing dead where we shut down and we don't take the action because the action we need to take feels too overwhelming. But the interesting thing about this is that it's not a total shutdown in the sense of like we're just completely shut down. We also have this sort of frantic, anxious energy in our mind when we are in freeze because we are thinking about all the things we want to do and need to do and frustrated with ourselves that we can't do these things. So something to think about and consider. How are these showing up in your business now? Well, I'll give you some examples how these stress responses show up specifically around our offers in our business. So we know what fight is. Well, an example of how this would be applied to your offers might be having this internal voice in your head that is just forcing you to do things you don't like. I am going to force myself and push myself to create and deliver this offer at any cost, even if it does not feel aligned for me. So often I like to say that the fight response can feel like an inner drill sergeant voice in our head. It can make us feel really pressured. It's not so much fighting an external stressor, usually in this case, it's kind of that internal war with ourselves. So think about that when you are creating your offers. Flight, this is a huge one. Shows up so often for entrepreneurs. I change offer ideas every week to run away from misalignment instead of running toward what I do want. So instead of running toward the things that we know are calling to us, we are choosing different offers randomly and probably not able to stick with them because they're not aligned as a way of just running away from what we don't want. I don't want this full-time job. I'm going to run away, and even though this isn't aligned for me, I don't want this version of my business. I'm going to run towards something else. It's that running away energy. Fawning might show up as I have to people please as I deliver this offer. Otherwise, people will get mad at me and I won't be safe. Oh my goodness. How many of us have been through that? I will raise my hand really high for that one because I know when I started out 10 years ago freelancing, I was answering my clients' phone calls at 10 p.m. on a Friday night. I should not have even been giving them my phone number, okay? I was really over-delivering, people-pleasing, having no boundaries, things like that. Not something we want to do if we want to create a business that feels good for us and meets our needs. And then freeze is that energy of, I really want to do this, I need to do this, but I just can't. It's too overwhelming, so I'm going to shut down. So it can show up with our offers as I can't create or promote this offer because that visibility, putting myself out there, doesn't feel safe. So I'm going to stay stuck and shut down doing what I am doing right now and unable to move forward. Let's look at a real world example, and you will see how your nervous system can be the only thing wrong. It could be literally the only thing going wrong within your offers. So I'm going to give you an example. Imagine you are running a group coaching community. Say you've got a container and you're running a community that is a pop-up and you're doing it live for 8 weeks. And let's say it includes weekly phone calls and a Slack community. And by the way, you can apply this example I'm about to show you to anything. So if you're a freelancer, if you want to do coaching, one-on-one, whatever you want to do, you can apply this. So let's look at how this works. Misalignment. Your nervous system response, if you show up in that group coaching community, people-pleasing, over-delivering because of the fawn response. The fawn response is the misalignment here. That's going to lead to over-delivering, obsessively checking that Slack group, staying over time on your weekly coaching calls, really just feeling like you can't get away from it because you always have to be in there, over-delivering and obsessively checking. And guess what? It's all rooted in that fawn response, and that is going to result in resentment and burnout. Even if this offer feels like your soul's calling, and the people in there are your dream clients, just this one nervous system response, fawning in this group coaching community that you've created, will make it misaligned for you. And it can be the only thing that makes it misaligned for you. Now, on the other hand, what does it look like in alignment? Well, when you don't have that fawn response or fight, flight, freeze, you lead from regulation. For this example, instead of fawning, you prioritize your needs and you go into this offer knowing that you have boundaries and your needs matter. And this will lead to boundaries and honoring of your needs, right? In the form of checking the group during set times, ending your calls on time so you respect not only your community's time, but your own time as well. And then delivering value, of course, without people pleasing. So yes, we're still showing up, delivering the value, but we are not overdoing it and stressing ourselves to the max from that space of people pleasing, which is going to result in something totally different, right? Work-life balance, fulfillment, joy, and alignment. So you can really see how just this one nervous system pattern can impact you in just your offers. So imagine all four of them: flight, fight, freeze, and fawn. That's a little bit of a tongue twister, showing up not only in your offers, but your pricing and your marketing. Oh my goodness, we've got a lot to work on here. And you can see how much leading from regulation changes everything. This is why we don't just come into our business with strategy alone. I've been in business for 10 years and I've learned this lesson the hard way. And thankfully I know it now, but this is why it's so important to bring mindfulness and nervous system work into our business, because you can have all the strategy in the world, an offer that you love, but if you are in one of those stress responses, that is not going to be successful and it's not going to be fulfilling for you. It's not going to feel aligned. These practices are essential, completely essential to running a business that makes you feel fulfilled, aligned, and joyful. So I want to show you an example of an aligned shift that I made in my offers back in the day. For those of you who have been around here a while, you know I started out my journey as a freelance writer way back in the day, 10 years ago. So what felt misaligned for me was what I was doing at first, right? I was fawning with my clients. I felt like I was in fight or flight because that's kind of the mode I started my business from. And yeah, I was freelance writing for clients who underpaid me pricing, disrespected my boundaries, and had unrealistic expectations for deadlines. And I didn't have boundaries around my offers. I didn't honor my own needs in my offers. So what was the aligned shift here? Really noticing that and going, this is not working for me. This is not working. I can't stay on this hamster wheel. So I pivoted into freelance writing for high-paying premium clients who respected me and my boundaries and gave me projects I enjoyed. So this has to do with offers, pricing, and marketing, but really at the core, it's your offer and the boundaries and the true self-alignment you are creating when it comes to that offer. So I would invite you to think, how am I maybe self-abandoning in my offers, and what might make my offers feel more aligned? And by the way, inside the Aligned Path community, you actually get a complete program that walks you through how to shift to aligned offers that light you up, with regulation and integration tools included. So we are bridging that amazing nervous system and mindfulness work with your business strategy. That is where all of the magic happens. All right, on to step 2. We are going to align your pricing. Choose pricing that meets your needs, and we are going to build safety around that pricing, because you can go, yeah, I'm going to charge, let's just think of a random number, $3,000 for that. But if that doesn't feel safe for you internally and for your nervous system, you will subconsciously self-sabotage or shut down around that, right? And I want to say too that there's no shame at all in that. I've been there. I've been deep into all of the stress responses. But yeah, this is how it works. We've got to build that safety around the pricing, because we can have the strategy and know what to charge, but we've got to have the knowing that it is safe for us to charge that. So we can price from a place of confidence, not fear and not comparison. Because kind of like I've been saying, pricing isn't as simple as confidence or math or charging what you're worth or looking up a rate sheet online or looking at what other people are charging. It's just about safety. What feels safe for you? Because if your price doesn't feel safe in your body, you will end up bending that price, discounting, over-delivering, or apologizing for it. Or you may not put that pricing out there at all. I have been there. I will show you again with an example here in just a couple minutes that I'm sure you will probably relate to. But before we do that, let's do a quick exercise together, and we're going to see how you relate to different pricing in your business. So I would invite you to, if it feels comfortable for you, take a deep breath now, close down your eyes, and bring your core offer to mind now as an image. Maybe you're imagining yourself sitting at your laptop delivering this offer. Maybe you're imagining yourself on the phone with a client or putting your sales page or your website out there. Imagine the excitement of that offer and how excited you are to deliver that. And if you don't have an offer, you can just imagine an offer that you would like to create. Now, bring to mind the dollar amount that you are charging for this core offer. And again, if you don't have an offer yet, that's okay. Just imagine what you feel like you would charge initially. I want you to really envision that number in your mind. So in your mind's eye, picture that number and picture yourself charging that for that offer. The next step I want you to imagine is tripling that number. Whatever number you were imagining, I want you to triple that number in your mind. If you were imagining $300, imagine $900. If you were imagining $1,000, imagine $3,000 for that offer. So imagine that new number in your mind and imagine yourself really delivering this offer at that new tripled pricing. Now that you're doing that, what sensations, thoughts, and feelings are coming to mind? See if you can do a little checking in and noticing what is happening. What I want you to know is, and you may be feeling this, years ago, if I had done this around the example I'll show you in a minute, I definitely would have been like, oh my gosh, no, I can't do that. That's too much. It feels like too big of a jump. All these things, see? And that's just like the example here. You may have thoughts that come up if your body doesn't feel safe around certain numbers. Like, there's no way I could charge that. I'm not credible. I'm not experienced enough. That sounds crazy to charge that, especially if we're coming from the world of 9-to-5 jobs where a number like $3,000 sounds like a lot, but it is not always the case, right? Sometimes it's just a matter of we don't feel safe charging that number. So it shows up in our thoughts, it shows up in our feelings, anxiety, doubt, worry, maybe even shut down or just like, I feel like I got to get away from that because it doesn't feel safe, right? And then sensations, if you're imagining a pricing that doesn't feel safe to you, you might notice a faster heart rate, raised shoulders, even like a clenching or a tension in your body. All these things we could notice, right? And that is again because pricing is not just about numbers. It's not just about picking, something based on what you saw somebody tell you to price online, right? It is about, are you able to then hold that pricing? So, of course, note with the thoughts, feelings, and sensations here, this isn't a complete list, and you may not have experienced these exact things. That's completely okay. Whatever shows up for you here is okay. There are really no expectations. Just the invitation here is to start thinking about how your sense of safety around pricing might be impacting what you are charging. Because what we want to do is create safety around the pricing that actually meets our needs. We don't want to base our pricing on, oh my gosh, I've got to make sure that this person can buy it from me or make sure that I'm not doing too much and all this stuff. We don't want to do that. We want to find the pricing that meets our needs, which we'll learn how to do in the Aligned Path, by the way, and then create a sense of safety around charging that much so that we do not subconsciously resist that pricing, which will result in a stress response in the form of over-delivering because you're like, oh my gosh, if I'm going to charge that much, I have got to add every single bell and whistle imaginable. I've been there. It could result in discounting because you're like, ooh, I don't feel safe in that pricing. So the second someone questions me on it, yeah, I'm going to go, yeah, you're right. It's not actually worth that. I'm just going to discount. Or never launching the offer with your desired pricing to begin with, because if that pricing sends us into a freeze shutdown state, then we don't end up launching that offer with our desired pricing. So really interesting stuff. I've seen it happen so many times. And again, I just want to name all this is really, really normal. There's nothing wrong with you if you're experiencing any of this stuff. It's so normal. I have been there, and I promise you, pretty much every other business owner has been there too. And by the way, you will learn how to create aligned pricing and hold that pricing inside my community, the Aligned Path. So here is an example of an aligned shift that you might make in your pricing. This is my own example from my own business journey from years and years ago, right? So I have a program called Killer Cold Emailing. Probably if you've been here around here a while, you've heard of it. And this used to be a $297 program. And I was undercharging for that for many years, right? It was a self-paced program, and it also included a large, thousands of people, moderated community. And I was giving a lot of additional one-on-one feedback and coaching, just like on the last slide. I didn't feel safe even around this pricing, which is very accessible for courses in general, right? But I didn't have safety around that. So I ended up really going in, over-delivering, doing so much, just because I didn't feel safe in that pricing. When I made an aligned shift, it came from creating safety around charging for the same self-paced product delivered as that product, self-led, not with a moderated community and not with a lot of additional one-on-one feedback and coaching, but instead I added in generous pre-built resources. So that was my aligned pricing shift. And it didn't happen because, I randomly came up with this number or a business coach told me this is what I should be charging. It happened because I did the inner work around creating safety around my pricing. I worked on my fawn response. Oh my goodness, a really deep process for me. If any of you can relate, that can be a big one, especially for entrepreneurs. And that is how I made this aligned shift. So inner alignment, not only in pricing, but in all areas, we want to think about how can I honor my clients and also honor myself. We want these two things to feel like there's an equilibrium there, right? We don't want them to be tipping too far in either direction. We want to be honoring our own needs and also honoring the needs of our clients. And you can do that without people pleasing, undercharging, over-delivering, all those things. And inside the Aligned Path community, you actually get a program that walks you through how to create truly aligned pricing that feels good and meets your needs. That is where we start. We start with your needs and we work backwards from there and say, how are we going to do that? Without people pleasing or undercharging from a place of scarcity or fear. So let's talk about step 3. And actually, before we do that, I don't even think I put the link to the Aligned Path in the video description. I have no idea why. Michael, could you just drop the link to the Aligned Path page in the chat for me real quick? So let's talk about step 3. Align your marketing. The way we're going to do this is think about marketing yourself in ways that actually work for you. We're not going to have that energy of forcing things that we don't even want to be doing. Just sharing from authentic energy is going to be what attracts your aligned clients. So this is what you want to be doing. Now, you may relate to this because I know I've been there. When it comes to your marketing, maybe you've thought, I just need to push harder. I just need to do more. I got to do more. But what if you don't actually need to do more? What if instead you just need to do what is truly aligned, what feels good for you, and regulate your nervous system so that it feels safe to do that? I can tell you from 10 years of being an online business owner, when you choose a marketing method that feels good for you, that you are happy and excited to show up for, it is naturally going to be successful because you don't need to push and force yourself into consistency. You're going to wake up and go, oh my gosh, yes, I want to do this. I want to do this. I'm lit up when I'm thinking about doing this. So here are 3 things that I often see block entrepreneurs from aligned marketing. And by the way, this can be whether you are already running a business successfully, or you've gotten started, or even if you haven't started yet. Some things could be blocking you from getting started. So the first one is that fawn response, the people pleasing. You are choosing marketing strategies based on that, meaning you're choosing based on what will please others. If you tend to fawn in your marketing, this may also show up as that energy of it's not safe to be me and be authentic online. I've got to be nice versus being my true self. That can be a form of fawning because it's kind of like people pleasing, prioritizing someone else's needs over my own. So a really specific example might be you might over edit your Instagram captions so that you avoid upsetting anyone. A fight response, that can certainly come into play here as well, making you force marketing methods that don't feel aligned. I did this for a little while in my business and it was really tough because we want to be marketing ourselves all the time, right? And if our marketing doesn't feel good and we actually actively dislike it and we're doing something that we dislike all the time, we're going to be really unhappy in our business, which we don't want. So you might, for example, this is kind of my own example from many years ago, actually. You might decide to create highly edited YouTube videos that take 15 hours per week to make, just because someone else said that's the best way to grow, even though you do not like editing and YouTube does not feel like the right place for you. So you're fighting with yourself internally. You're like, oh, I don't really want to do this, but I have to. You have that voice in your head that is fighting you on that and pushing you to do things that are misaligned. A fear of visibility or judgment putting you in a freeze state. Oh my goodness, this is a huge one, especially for those who are just starting out and maybe feel really scared of putting themselves out there online, which is totally, completely normal and understandable. But you might avoid marketing completely if this is you, or subconsciously self-sabotage because it doesn't feel safe to be visible. Visibility feels like vulnerability or being judged. I've coached so many writers, entrepreneurs, all this stuff for 10 years now, and so many of them say, I just feel like an imposter. I would feel like a fraud if I put myself out there. I would feel like people are going to make fun of me or judge me, or like, who am I to be doing this? It's totally normal, a normal, common response, and it is nothing to be ashamed of. All we want to do is bring awareness to these responses, because that awareness is the first step to shifting them, regulating, and then shifting our action. Because no amount of strategy in the world will make your marketing feel good and get results if you are in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. I could hand you like a guaranteed, what's a good example? A guaranteed Instagram Reels strategy, right? With all the templates and everything you need, all the topics. And if you're in freeze and visibility doesn't feel safe for you, it still wouldn't work for you, because you either would not be able to step toward the thing that you want, or you would just kind of feel really uncomfortable while doing it, rather than regulating and letting yourself know it is safe to take that action. The good news is you do not have to push, force, or stay frozen in fear. You can actually market yourself in a way that feels good and gets amazing results. That's what we want. Not just feels good, not just gets results, but does both of those things. So how do we do this? How do we create aligned marketing? We shift from making decisions from fight, flight, freeze, or fawn to making decisions aligned with our true self in our marketing. Not only around what we do day to day, but the big picture. What marketing method am I choosing? How am I showing up when I'm going to market myself in that way? Am I showing up regulated, or am I people pleasing or pushing or shutting down in my marketing? So let me give you an example of how this could show up for you. This is my own aligned shift. Oh my goodness, look at this on the left here. That is just such an old video. If you have been around that long, you have been around here a really long time. But yeah, for me, I used to do YouTube. This was probably like 2016 or 2017, something like that. I used to do it in the form of talking head videos that required, the DSLR? Yeah, DSLR camera setup, and needed 5 or more hours of editing each. And for some people, they really like editing. I am not one of those people. That's why alignment is so different for every single human, every single entrepreneur. Alignment is going to look different. But for me, these talking head videos that required all this crazy camera setup and required all this editing that I was doing myself was not aligned for me. Another really interesting piece here. I was pressuring myself to feel like I had to have the highest energy on every single video, even if I felt bad that day. It was just like I had this mindset of fawning, right? I've got to show up, and I don't want to bring anyone down. I want to make people feel happy and good and excited. And I was putting an insane amount of pressure on myself every day to show up and do that, rather than just going, yeah, I'm feeling okay today, and whatever I can do today is going to be good enough, and it's going to attract the right people. So interesting how it's not just strategy, but it is also the nervous system responses you're bringing into your marketing. So for me, an aligned shift I made was doing simple screen sharing recordings using Loom. that was aligned for me personally because I really like designing. I love getting in Canva and making all the cute things in there. And it didn't require a lot of setup and editing and all this like pressure. And the editing was pretty much non-existent except just chopping up the video, not adding overlays and doing all this crazy stuff. So for me, that was my version of alignment when it came to YouTube. So something to think about when you are not only choosing the marketing method you're going to use to attract your dream clients, but also how are you showing up in that? Are you showing up in a state of dysregulation, or are you showing up from a place of regulation? Little things can make a huge, huge difference in how we feel in our business. Inside of my new community, The Aligned Path, which I'm so excited about, we've already had several people join just this morning when it opened, so yay! You will get a program that walks you through how to create truly aligned marketing that not only feels good for you and meets your needs, it is going to empower you to stop forcing misaligned strategies and stop feeling frozen in fear. All these really normal things that we want to become aware of and then shift so that we magnetically attract our dream clients because we feel good doing the thing we are doing, and they are going to sense that, and they are going to find you, and they are going to want to work with you. So really, kind of the core thing here is we can walk a misaligned path in our business or an aligned path. A misaligned path looks like feeling constant pressure and stress, feeling that fight, flight, freeze, and fawn response, forcing offers that you don't truly love, settling for pricing that doesn't actually feel good for you, pushing yourself into marketing methods that aren't a true fit, or maybe not even being able to market ourselves because we don't feel safe to do that, which will lead to burnout and resentment. So often entrepreneurs end up in these push and crash cycles because they are pushing themselves to do something misaligned for so long that the crash comes. The body says, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. I am not going to do this anymore. You're going to have to stop. And at that point, the body, the brain, it is asking you to pivot and do something aligned. Which is why we want to walk the aligned path where you return to yourself, the creative, intuitive, happy you that has been buried under all the shoulds and the expectations and the fears and running a business that lights you up. And this is what leads to joy and fulfillment in our business. I really want you to know, online business does not have to be this pressured, hard, stressful thing. You really deserve to step into your dream business and step into a way of doing business that is so profitable and also feels calm, creative, joyful, easy, and true to you. I would love to help you step into the next chapter of your life and online business inside the Aligned Path community. This is a gathering space, so it's an online community, and it also includes 3 core courses in the curriculum, which I'll talk about shortly, where you're going to unlearn hustle and shoulds and all these pressures, and you'll work with the nervous system responses so you can remember how powerful you actually are when you build from a place of alignment. So you can see here, we are going to do this via 3 core courses: aligned offers, aligned pricing, and aligned marketing. So inside the Aligned Path community, you are going to create offers that you love, that feel so good and so aligned for you, pricing that meets your real life needs, and marketing methods that feel authentic and joyful and easy for you, so you actually want to show up and do them every single day. We are creating that alignment, and it is so much more natural to succeed and build a profitable business when we're actually doing something we want to do, because we don't have to motivate ourselves with forcing and pressure and an inner drill sergeant or inner critic pushing us. We are going to be already motivated because every piece of our business feels aligned. So let's talk about what each one of these courses contains. Aligned offers. That is your first step. You will get instant access to this when you join the community. So it is very in-depth. It is something I'm going to guide you through step by step. You will have created offers that truly light you up. The way we do this is we uncover your values, capacity, and real life needs, and we merge those things with the strategy. You will also see examples of misaligned versus aligned offers. And this is the most exciting part, you get nervous system regulation and integration tools so that this strategy sticks. You're not just learning the things, you're actually integrating them because it feels safe to do so and you're in tune with your body and your needs. So imagine how it would feel to be doing exactly what you want to be doing in your business. Exactly the offers you want to put out into the world. This is how you are going to get there. Step 2 is aligned pricing. These next 2 courses are gradually released to support regulation and integration as you go through this. But by the end of aligned pricing, you're going to know how to price your products or your services in a way that meets your real life needs. So honoring our own needs. And you are going to get regulation and integration tools to help you show up and hold that pricing so that it feels safe for you. So imagine how it would feel to be getting paid to do what you love and be getting paid more while working less. This is your step to getting there. And step 3 is Align Marketing. So this is the 3rd core program inside of the course. By the end of Align Marketing, you will understand why certain marketing methods have never worked for you, why some feel draining, scary, or just plain misaligned. Then you're going to choose the best, most aligned marketing methods for you. And again, we're looking at this through the lens of your values, capacity, and your needs. So imagine looking forward to marketing yourself instead of dragging yourself out of bed and making yourself do it, right? This is how you get there. You choose something that feels aligned, so you don't have to bring that energy of forcing to it, and you regulate and you do the thing that brings you your dream clients. This is a members only space, so you get instant access to the community when you join. Like I said, there have already been people joining in and introducing themselves just this morning, which has been so incredible to see. I cannot wait to meet you in there next. You will also get live calls with me once a month. So some of these are going to be Q&As. Others are going to be exclusive workshops. I'm actually doing one next week for founding members. So if you get in now, where we are going to set your goals for 2026, your Align 2026. Not only that, we're going to talk about stepping into the identity and creating the habits that actually makes those goals a reality. So really, really good stuff. And again, you're getting Q&As as well. You're getting the community, so you don't have to feel like you're going at this whole online business thing alone. If you have a question, you can hop in there and chat with everyone else who is in there. It's just going to be such a supportive space for you to connect with others and get the help that you need. So yeah, this is kind of what the community looks like. You can connect with other entrepreneurs, share your wins, and get support and encouragement whenever you need it on your online business journey. And I'm going to be building this out over the coming months, but you will have the option to unlock additional trainings and resources. So the one on the left here, the Aligned Offer Idea Bank, 30 offer ideas, you get that just by engaging in the community, just by posting and sharing. You are going to unlock that. It is so cool how things just kind of like unlock the more you like hang out in the community. So you're just naturally unlocking these cool resources. I just love it. I am so excited for you guys to hop in there. Other resources are paid upgrades. They're totally optional, but might be supportive for you. The one on the right here is called the Deer Vault. So this basically coincides with your business alignment animal. I'll explain that more inside of the Align Path community, but each alignment animal, and there's 4, corresponds to the 4 stress responses: fight, flight, freeze, and fawn in your business. And I've got a vault for you in there. Each alignment animal has a vault to help you work with a specific stress response in your business. So it's actually a really cool thing. I should have made like a whole other slide for that. But when you join, you're going to get that quiz that's going to tell you what your business alignment animal is. And this whole journey is really, really tailored to you. So it is very, very exciting stuff. You can click over now and join for just $27. There is no minimum monthly commitment, but I do recommend staying in there for at least like 3 months so that you get through the entire program and you have plenty of time to like integrate that and all that good stuff. But of course, I would love for you to stay in there for a very long time with us, working on growing your business, coming to those monthly live workshops with me, and just having that community that you can go to anytime when you have a question, you need support and encouragement. You don't have to feel like you're going at this alone. So you can click over now and join. Michael has already posted the link in the chat where you can get all of the details on everything that you get. Join now and say hi to us in the community. Or just another option, you can join for $297 for 1 year of access. So if you just want to do the whole year up front, then you save a little bit. Either option will get you inside the community, and you can join now as a founding member to lock in this founding member pricing, as well as get access to the live workshop I am going to be teaching next week about goal setting and embodying the identity we want to bring into 2026 so we can reach our goals. So feel free to join now at the link below. Like I said, Michael's already posted that in the chat. If you are watching the replay, I will also be posting that in a pinned comment, and I will be posting it in, let's see where else, the video description as well. So that is all for me today. Do you guys have any questions? I will scroll through. Let me pull up the chat here. Okay, missed a message it looks like. Cryptic Medicine says hello from Ohio. Hello. I'm probably very late getting back to you on that comment, but hello. I am so glad you're here, and I'm just so excited to be opening up this community space in general. Like, I have wanted to create something like this for so very long, and to see it coming to fruition and opening up and getting to share this space with you guys, like, it just feels amazing. I cannot wait to see you all in the community. I cannot wait to share this space with you. AG says, it sounds like a great group. Yeah, it is. And just from the people who have joined this morning, already sharing their stories and sharing what they're hoping for in business, like, it has been so inspiring to me. And it's crazy because it literally just opened like maybe 4 or 5 hours ago or something like that. So it's been really fun to see people already hopping in and like engaging. Someone's already like working through one of the workbooks and stuff. It's just a really cool space that I am just like so lit up about. I just could not be more excited because it really does matter. Like the alignment piece in our business, right? It really does matter. It's so important for us to choose offers we care about, set pricing that really works for us, and create marketing strategies that are based on not just what's going to work and not just what we like, but both of those things, so that it is so natural to show up in our online business every single day. And we're just joyful in it. We love doing it, all that good stuff. Y'all, I am like about to lose my voice because I've spent the last like 3 weeks recording curriculum. So I am so sorry for all the coughing. AG says, is there an option to switch to a yearly membership if we start as monthly? Yes, there is an option to switch to yearly. So if you want to hop in for like the first month and like start working through aligned offers and then switch to yearly later, whenever it's a good time for you, you can absolutely do that. So definitely something you can do. Desiree says, I'm excited to be part of the group. That's so awesome. Yes, I saw you join, so welcome. I have been following you a long time now. P.S. I'm glad we weren't on a Zoom call. I have dogs yelling at me because they think it is dinner time. Oh my goodness. I totally know what you mean. Yeah, it's kind of nice just like having it be a chill thing, right? I've noticed that a lot of the entrepreneurs I work with are like that. Either they have like animals, or maybe they're very introverted and they don't really want to do like the whole Zoom thing where we feel like we've got to show up and like be quiet and, be dressed and all this stuff. We can actually just chill. We don't need to do any of that. And the live calls inside the community are going to be very, very chill like that too. Like, I'm going to send you a live private link here, and you can just show up. Show up as you. Doesn't have to be quiet. You don't have to be perfect. You can just show up and it'll be really fun. But yeah, I'm excited to see you in the group. I cannot say enough. I will never shut up about how excited I am about this community, because it has been a long time coming, but I am just so thrilled to be guiding you in this space. It is going to be awesome. I can't believe the day is here and it is finally open. I am just so excited. So I think I'll leave you guys with that. Thank you so much for showing up today. I hope that you found this live workshop helpful. I hope you maybe had some new ideas or light bulb moments from it. And definitely, I would invite you to join the Align Path today. Lock in that founding member pricing. It's $27 to join, or you can go ahead and invest in the year up front for just $297. Either option, whatever works for you. There is no minimum commitment. You can just join and check it out and come hang out with us. It's going to be fun. All right, I am going to head out, but thank you guys again so much for joining me today, and I will see you inside the Align Path.